everybody, I'm Dennis Pittsenbarger. We're here, the SEMA Show 2016, in the Las Vegas Convention Center. Now, I get a chance once in a while to sit up on the stage and interview people I've known for quite some time. You might know him from things like CarCraft. It is Doug Glass. How you doing today, sir? The Enthusiast Network is taking over the media world, but you will always be Doug from CarCraft till the day I die. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. And yeah, that's true. I was at CarCraft for 9 years as the editor, so it kind of sticks.
Longest standing editor of that magazine, I believe?
Correct.
I'm going to start with that. We'll get the Enthusiast Network in a second. We have some strong views about how much horsepower you need at Drag Week. We're going to get into that too. Can you imagine when you started at CarCraft, how much the industry has changed, how much SEMA has changed, how much media has changed since then?
No, absolutely not. The vehicles have changed. Back when I started at CarCraft, we still had the 302 and the 350. Those engines have been around forever, and they were going to be around for the foreseeable future. During my tenure at the magazine, the LS came out, the modular motor came out, the Coyote came out, and then all of these variants. The Camaro came back. Everything's changed so much. And then we were talking earlier about how much horsepower, all the superchargers that you can buy now, the turbochargers, 400 horsepower used to be a lot, 500 was
insane.
500
was insane.
Yeah, now 500's a factory car. I think the GT350 is 526.
Yeah.
Right. So
650 in a Corvette.
Yep.
650 in a ZL1.
707.
707 in a Hellcat. And that's real numbers. I mean, Hellcat, I've seen dyno numbers on a new one hitting around the 620 mark at the wheel. So I want to go back to a particular thing you said. What was probably the biggest wave of change in just technical? Because I know you're a very gifted engine builder. You are a mechanically adept guy. When the LS and modular motors came out, I was one of those guys that said, you can have my 18-degree small block Chevrolet when you pry it from my cold dead fingers.
Right.
I was not adaptive to the LS motor. I saw weird cubic engine numbers. I saw weird but familiar architecture that didn't make any sense to me. I was a late adapter to that engine, but maybe the Ford, maybe something else. What was the biggest change you saw in the mechanical side of things that you've covered over the years?
Well, I think the roller cam, right? That's got to be the biggest one. The flat tappet cam has gone away, and then all of the crate motor programs.
Yeah.
Right. So take Chevrolet Performance for instance. They worked really hard to get LS3s, LS1 crate motors into people's hands, and then the aftermarket followed up with adapters for carburetors if you were a carburetor guy still, or EFI systems that you could bolt on. Those are the biggest changes I think that move these new engines into old cars.
Let's talk about into old cars power. You and I have it's because you realize a lot of us have been around forever and we've seen a lot of change. Right. 300 horsepower used to be a pretty fast street car. 400 would push the barrier. We had this discussion, and I want to do it on the video because I think it'll be fun. I say 750 is the break point, maybe even 700, where you can't even put it on the ground. My example would be my 4th Gen Camaro. Little LT1 with the right suspension setup with drag radials. I'll get you in the 1-2 battle because all I'm going to do is burn the clutch up because I don't have enough power to go up and smoke. I'm literally saying my car's weak. But be the counterpoint. Help me out here. Now guys look at Drag Week, one of the most successful events you guys put on. It started something almost silly like Power Tour. Now has turned into me the go-to event for the Enthusiast Network. Drag Week to me is the true, call it the frame up of what is the ludicrous speed, for dark helmet.
Yeah, that program has pushed the street car beyond the levels that we're accustomed to. It's also given us a lot of horsepower and speed inflation. And what I mean by that is people are getting now used to 6 and 7 second cars that can also drive, 1,000 miles. A lot goes into that kind of a vehicle.
Yeah.
But what it's also done is it's brought down some of the, traditional street cars that are actually a little more usable, a little less carbon fiber. And those guys are running low 9s and high 8s. And those are cars that people are going in groups with, and they're actually pretty reliable. So it's the late model technology that's helped that. But I don't care, how you cut it. An 8-second car is a fast car.
I've never driven an 8-second car. I've never been that. What's the fastest you've ever been? Because I know the Duster went didn't it go deep in the 8s?
It went low in the 9s, about 160.
Okay.
But I've gone 860 at 160-ish in a Cobra Jet, so a new Mustang. It was set up for drag racing, yeah, but the fact is there was a lot of factory parts on that car.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible ride. 860s is fast. I mean, for a group of people like this, okay, there's a lot of guys out here that go a lot faster, even at our events. Even CarCraft's Midnight Drags program, which is really aimed at your do-it-yourself guy.
Yeah.
The fast car there is 840s. And then
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then we had a couple guys show up with 7-second cars.
When I went to high school, if you drove a Fox or an F-body, let alone if you got your hands on a Grand National, your 12-second car, you ruled the street.
Yep.
If you got in the 11s, man, you were the fastest guy in town. Now, if I bolt a turbo onto my wife's GMT 800 Yukon, I could probably pull an 11-second quarter mile.
Yeah, factory cars are 11s. Even with the traction control and all the things they're trying to prohibit you from going faster, they're still managing to go 10s and 11s, so that's impressive.
Let's talk about the Enthusiast Network and your job as content manager for such a big thing. Did you ever think, you were a guy, when I met you, man, it was literally underneath the do you remember when I met you? I do.
I'm trying to remember what I was under. What car
well, you were under, I believe, I don't remember what project cars, but I remember you were literally welding in the Hot Rod Garage in El Segundo, and I was getting trucked around when I was doing Hot Rod Radio, and it was like, I knew who you were because you're Doug Glad. I know who you are. And I remember talking to you, and it's funny that so many things change with SEMA, with time, and with such a great job you guys have done with the Enthusiast Network to really change it into a 21st, 22nd century company that was based on print from the great Mr. Peterson to everything that you can imagine online.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of fantastic legacy brands, and we brought them over, to the network, and they came over pretty easily, and a lot of new people picked it up, with our websites and our TV shows and our social media, and then also the print product as well. So we brought a lot of those print people over, and we also picked up a whole bunch of new people from foreign countries and different areas of the world, and a lot of people in the U.S. That consume this kind of content in a different way. They still like Mustangs, they're just using their phone to look at Mustangs.
It's amazing how the world's changed. It used to be all just sitting in the bathroom at the shop reading it like this, and now it's just you scroll like this. Hey, listen, on behalf of Doug Glad, one of the best car guys I know for the Enthusiast Network, I'm Dennis Pittsenbarger. More from SEMA coming up soon.